My phone almost fell. How's everybody doing? Hey, so we're going to do a late night Q&A. So for those of you who are night owls, I'm trying to prop up my phone real quick. I said I would come on. My phone's not propping up too easily. Hey, so we're going to do a Q&A. I've actually gotten a lot of questions about just general food questions, and so I thought I would pop on here. Hopefully I don't bore you, but if you have questions and I can catch them as you pop on, I'd love to know where you're tuning in from. Hi, Mel. Mel's in Australia. Where is everybody else tuning in from? So how was your day? How was your last 5 days of January? How are you doing on your goals, your resolutions, your intentions, whatever you call them? Because let's just be real. I can't imagine there's not a person in the world that doesn't come to a new year and just hope or dream or wish or pray for something, right? Good or different or whatever it is, right? And it's not like you have to have a bad life. It's just like, oh, my next step is blah. So with that, how are you doing on your goals, dreams, hopes, resolutions, habits, disciplines, whatever you want to call them? So as you're hopping on, where are you tuning in from? We are in Kentucky. We've got some from Mexico. Oh, that's awesome. I love it. And so, okay, I'm going to dive into some Q&A because we get a lot of questions all the time. And so the number one question that we've gotten recently is all about kids and family, because what I think more people are realizing is, hey, if I'm going to eat healthy as a mom or a dad, why would I have my kids live off of like not great food, right? And I often feel like there's like a fine line also between coaching people and giving people advice around their kids, because a lot of people are very outspoken about kids and food and what they need. So what I want to tell you is simply this. Our family eats better in our home. When we decided to eat keto or low carb, our kids joined us on eating the vegetables and the salads. And so what we did as a family is every time I would make a new vegetable, which by the way, my kids liked them more than I did, we all would try it, right? And I wasn't the type of mom that was going to make two different meals. So I just found every single meal that we ate before we were keto or low carb, and I tweaked it to make it a better version or a low carb version. So for example, tomorrow I'm going to be making lasagna. I will share with you everything that I do. I'm going to be using the egg thins that I posted today as the noodles. I'll show you exactly what I'm doing. I've done it many times. It's easy, but we love lasagna. That was an easy pivot from noodles to egg thins, right? Easy things that we had for supper. We had burgers. I just didn't buy the buns. It was really easy. We made a whole bunch of burgers. They were delicious. I got the burgers from Aldi's. I loved them. They were better burgers than I get at Costco. I was like, I need to go to Aldi just for their burgers. And so we had that and so all I did is I took the main meals that we had and I tweaked them. So as far as kids eating keto or low carb, what I want you to understand is this. You are going to have people tell you that kids need carbs. You're going to have doctors that tell you, like, we didn't put our kids on a diet. We just eliminated the Debbie snacks. I don't buy cookies. There's no ice cream in the freezer. We don't live off frozen we don't live off of those things. I just make meals. The girls snack on, nuts and veggies and beef sticks and cheese sticks. They still have some fruit. They like grapes and apples, peanut butter. So I hope that makes sense. So what we did with our kids is they eat the meals that I make. They have different options. I just don't keep the white flour, the sugar, and like the vegetable oil. I don't cook with those. Does that make sense? So there are real specific reasons why kids would be on a keto diet. And those are medical reasons. My kids don't have that. I just don't want them living off of sugar. Does that make sense? My kids still have carbs. They eat carrots. Carrots are not a keto vegetable. For those of you who are on keto, like strict keto. So I hope that's making sense, right? My kids still love, if we go out to eat, they will order mashed potatoes because they like them. They prefer those over cauliflower, and that's okay. Like a potato is a solid one ingredient vegetable or a starch, right? So I hope that makes sense. So as far as kids go and our family goes, we all do the best they can. I got a whole bunch of stuff out of our house. If they choose to go to a friend's house or a cousin's house or a grandma or a party and they want to have the cupcakes and everything there, it's their choice. And then they usually come home talk about a tummy ache, I correlate it to the food, because we don't talk about being fat. We're not on a diet. We don't talk about this is mommy's food or daddy's food. Oftentimes you'll find your kids might not try the foods you're eating because they think mom's on a diet. Oh, dad says he's fat. Oh, mom says this is her food. She made me mac and cheese. Does that make sense? So watch the words that you're speaking in your home over yourself, over the food, over why you're doing things. And you might find that if you actually correlate it to how kids are feeling, becoming a healthier person, being stronger for their basketball games or more athletic, like whatever that is, if you give a good reason why you're eating healthier foods, guess what? It's going to help them understand and as they grow up to make better choices. So that's what we've did as far as family goes. Another question we get a lot of is, how in the world do I read ingredients lists? So what I want you to understand is this: there is a wide variety of a keto diet. So when my husband did a keto diet, like 7 years ago, I don't ever remember hearing this word dirty keto, lazy keto, keto-ish, even low carb. It was like keto, okay? So my husband was tracking all of his macros. A macro, I wish I would have gotten my whiteboard. Everybody's sleeping in the house, and I just said I would do this, so I'm going to do this. So envision my whiteboard. It's got a pie chart, right? And it has proteins, fats, and carbs. My husband used to have a little scale. He would weigh all of his meat. He would weigh all of his food. He would track it in a little tracker. It would tell him how much he ate, and then he was either in ketosis or not. Like, that's what I thought of a keto diet. And that's really what it is. Most people that are doing a very strict keto diet for long terms, again, some do it for medical reasons. Most people don't need to be as strict, or they don't want to. I wasn't one of those people that wanted to. But I've learned how to read ingredients for that reason. So there's really strict keto where you're about 80% fat, 15% protein, 5% carbs-ish. Okay, everybody's different. There are people that are like lazy keto where they know they take the buns off the burgers, the croutons off the salad, they grab a lettuce wrap, they don't eat the cookies, they add some avocado to their food, they drink their water. They might be around 50 or 60 carbs if they're calculating it in their head, but they don't add it on a tracker sheet. There are people that are, we've got a ton of people on here. I've got people that on here that are keto vegan, keto there's so many different things. And so there isn't a one size fits all. Your macros wouldn't match my macros, right? But one thing I do like to tell you, and the only reason I'm grabbing this is because it's sitting on the counter. I didn't even plan this, but somebody mailed these to me in the mail the other day. These pork rind, like you can make chicken nuggets or something with them. But I'll give you an example. So here's your biggest tip. The tip is to flip. So anytime you're looking at an ingredients list, what the very first thing I used to do is I would flip it over. And hey, if you're brand new, post new below so we can chat. And then where you're tuning in from, if you have questions, I'll try to scroll through or I'll come back and answer them later. But when I first started keto and I wasn't tracking anything, I wasn't doing it how my husband did it. I didn't start keto by tracking my food because we have 4 girls. We homeschool, and at the time when we first started, I had a baby, 2, 4, almost 6. Like, there's no way you're going to get me to track that stuff. I just knew in my head I could make better choices, and I was feeling better. I was drinking ketones, drinking water, doing the best I could with my food, and that's all I could handle, and that's completely fine. So with that said, I did learn a couple things. So I would flip over a package, a box, because let's be real, I didn't know how to shop on the outside of the grocery store for a while. So I was like, what in the world? You want me to, what? Like, I didn't know what an avocado was, never had eaten one. You guys, I ate vegetables out of a can. If you do, that's fine. That's how I grew up. It's fine. I've just learned a lot about food over the last few years. So with all of that, it's a learning process. This isn't a one size fits all. This isn't like an instant keto diet. You don't instantly get into, well, if you drink ketones, you're in ketosis under an hour. But like, we're in such a fast-paced society. Like, if I don't have it instantly, I don't want to do it. If I don't have my results in 2 weeks, I don't want to do it. If I don't. Like, come on. So I hope that you have the mindset this year that if you set yourself a fitness, health, any type of health goal, that you've got a long-term vision for it and you stick with it. Okay? So I flip over whatever it is that I'm going to look at the ingredients. And there are net carbs and total carbs. So the question would be, well, if I'm tracking my carbs, do I want to stay 20 net carbs or 20 total carbs? Or if I'm doing lazy keto, do I want 60 net carbs or 60 total carbs? Everybody's different. So like my body can handle more dairy and like nuts and different foods than my husband can. And we know that just by the way his body reacts to food. And so you'll know by how you feel, maybe how your skin is, if you feel bloated. So anyways, I would flip this over and I would go straight to the carbs. I always do that. And so I looked at the total carbohydrates. This says 0. It's because it's pork rinds, crumbles. It says fried pork rinds. But so I would look at the total carbs. Let's say it was a snack and it had like 5, okay? I would then look and I would go, oh, dietary fiber. It has 0, but let's say it had 1. A net carb would bring my total carbs down to 4. So if I was counting carbs in my head, whether I was being strict keto or just going, hey, I'm not going to go over like 60 carbs today, I would go, this snack has about 4 carbs in it. If it had some sugar alcohol in it and it had 1, I could subtract 1 more. So technically this could have 3 net carbs. You can choose to count net carbs or total carbs. Again, everybody's different, okay? So I'll talk about something in a second. And then I would just briefly, I like to look at the fat. So I usually go, 6 grams of fat. And then I would go down to the ingredients list. You guys, have you guys ever looked at a box or like even a bar that says it's a keto bar, and then all of a sudden the ingredients list is like 18 things long that you don't even know what's in it? That's probably an indication that you probably don't want to have that a lot. So this ingredients list, the only thing that it says is pork rind skins and salt. So like there's 2 ingredients. I'll give you a clue. If you read something and the first ingredient is fructose corn sugar or syrup or sugar or something first, that has the most in it. If you see like sugar way down low and it doesn't really list it, but it's like way down here, it's probably a dabble of it. Does that make sense? So like somebody said the other day, oh, you want to know something? I'll give you an example. I eat these sausages every morning. Hold on. Come with me for a second through my house. Everybody's sleeping. So the other day, somebody said, Stephanie, the sausages that you eat say they have sugar in it. So something that we do in our home is we say, don't mess up good for perfect. There's a good, better, and a best option. So let me show you something real quick. I'll tell you about ketones in just a second. So for example, I love these sausages. I shop at Costco. It's my favorite store. If you're on a budget, Aldi's is great. I love Costco. I love Kroger. I really like any grocery store, but so I get these at Costco. I think it's backwards in your screen. Forgive me. So for example, it says like the carbohydrates. Hold on. What does this say? Oh, I was looking. It says 1 gram per 3 links. And then the sugar is not even listed in this top part. So like in this part, it doesn't say sugar, but if you look down at the ingredients, pork, water, salt, spices, sugar. So I hope that makes sense. Like some people would be like, you can't eat that. That's not keto. Yeah, this is like the best sausage I've ever found and it's completely fine. But like I hope this makes sense. Like this is about a lifestyle that you're going to stick with long term. These work great. We throw them in the air fryer. And so something I want to chat about before I dive into a couple meals, I wanted to give you guys some ideas of air fryer foods. And if you have an air fryer and you make something in the air fryer you love, share below. My hair keeps really bothering me. Please forgive me. So think about this real quick. A lot of people go, do calories matter? And what I want you to understand is this. And I've only learned this because I'm not a doctor. I'm not an expert. I've learned this over time. I've learned from a lot of other people watching and learning and listening. So I'll give you an example. Calories, like if you have calories tied to carbs and you have calories tied to fat, there are more calories in a fat gram than a carb gram. Does that make sense? So there are more calories in fats. I should like label my hands. Fats than carbs. So think about this. When somebody dives into eating keto, if you're brand new and you're like, I can eat all the fat in the world, I can eat all the butter and the bacon and the cheese, like if you're eating and if you find yourself saying, I can eat it, it's keto. Oh, I can eat that keto cookie that came from the grocery store, it's keto. Oh, I can eat that bar, it's keto. I can have that extra cheese, it's fine, it's keto. I can have those, like, and if you're going throughout your day and you're not actually paying attention to if you're hungry, but you're eating it because it's keto or low carb, what do you think is going to happen with all these fat calories? You're going to eat too much. Like the point of if your goal is fat loss, by the way, like if your goal is fat loss, then you do have to eat less. The point of eating fats is it keeps you fuller longer. So if you have fat coffee in the morning, which is coffee with butter and a little bit of cream, like not 4 cups of coffee with a cup of cream. It is a little bit of cream, some butter. I use keto cream in the morning. If I don't really can't drink a lot of coffee, but sometimes I just love it. So the point is it keeps you fuller longer. It can keep you sustained longer so you're not munching and snacking. But if you're munching and snacking, even after you eat all that fat, you're going to overeat. And then you get to lunch, right? And you eat a great salad and it's so good. And then all of a sudden there's a snack at work and you're like, I can have that. It's a whole bunch of cheese. It's fine. It's keto. And then you get to stuck and you find yourself snacking all day. And then you grab the almonds and you're like 1 scoop. And then you have the other scoop. And then you have... All I want to say is I tell people be very aware, because oftentimes, specifically women, is we eat mindlessly because it's keto, especially all of this keto food. Like I drink ketones, but I'm pretty cautious about the bars and the cookies and all of those things that I eat because I really don't need them. Because if I'm eating some really good meals and I'm adding some avocados or some butter or, a little bit of cheese or things, I'm really not hungry. I'm really not. So I would just say this. Think to yourself before you eat. Am I eating because the clock says to eat? Am I eating because it's in front of me, or I'm at work, or I'm with people, I'm being social, or should I just drink some water? That's it. Don't just eat. If you find yourself saying, well, it's keto, I can have it, I would back up for a second and go, it is a good option if I was hungry. That's where most people find themselves overeating, and you don't need to. So you don't need to eat every 2 hours. You don't need to eat when you're not hungry. Like your body will tell you when you're hungry. So that brings me to water intake. Something that I always do is after I drink my ketones in the morning, I have a water bottle and it is filled up with water. And so before I have anything else, if I were going to have, I only can have like a half a cup of coffee if I have some. And I have to water it down just the way my body reacts. But again, I love the flavor. So before I let myself drink anything else, whether it's like a protein shake or if I were to drink a little bit of coffee, I make myself drink at least 1, if not 2. And sometimes I'm like, I just want a little bit of something else. Nope, I've got to drink water. So a couple fun things that you can do with this. Let me see if I have a rubber band. You guys, it's so funny. I'm just kind of scrounging on my counter to see what's up here. Isn't that funny? If you saw my house. Well, actually, we did a pretty good job cleaning tonight. So something that a friend does is she puts however many rubber bands. So you need about half your body weight in ounces in water. So let's see. This is 20 ounces, right? So let's say I weigh 120. I think I weigh 130. I don't even know. I haven't weighed myself in a year. So let's say I needed, what does that make it? 80? What's 8? Is that 80? Let's just say I needed at least 4 of these, okay? I would put 4 rubber bands on here. And every time I drank one and I went to fill it up, I would take a rubber band off until I made it so there was no rubber bands on here. That's a great way to get your water in, okay? You need to make sure you have this with you at all times. So that's just an easy little reminder. Some people put the rubber bands on their wrists and put them over the other wrists, but I don't know. I think it's a good little visual. We did it for a long time with my kids. They thought it was fun so they could get their water in too. I always just have them around the house. By the end of the night, we honestly probably have 18 cups and water bottles out filled with water, and we all just drink out of them. So they're all over the counter. It kind of drives me nuts, but it is what it is. So we talked about kids. We talked about calories. We talked about macros a little bit. We talked about some fat. Don't eat if you're not hungry. Water intake. What other questions do you guys have? I'm trying to think. Those are like the main questions I've gotten recently. For those of you who just asked about the ketones, I'll give you a really, really less than 5-minute story of my life real quick. My husband started keto like 7 years ago when we had babies. I watched him do it. He did it because he wanted to lose some fat, really because he had gained like 50 pounds. We lived in Oklahoma. We moved back to Minnesota. My husband used to work at Life Church. If anybody's familiar with lifechurch.t, well, now it's like life.church, but he worked for Life Church. We lived there until we had a lot of kids and no help. And then we moved back to Minnesota. But with that, his transition, he gained a lot of weight. He didn't have his routine, his workout partners. When we live around family, there's lots of parties and a lot of parties and cousins and more parties, cupcakes and birthday cakes. So we would joke about it, but one day he turned to me and he was like, Stephanie, and he was dead serious, you guys. He was like, did you shrink my pants? And I was like, are you kidding? You're kidding, right? Because yesterday you ate like 3 cupcakes, and I was like, babe, I didn't shrink your pants. I mean, and I kind of had to give this awareness of like, hey, no, I didn't. So he dove into keto and learned a ton, and it was fun to watch him. And at first I thought he was crazy, but it took him about a year to figure out like his macros, how his body was making ketones. He was in ketosis, out of ketosis. It was a roller coaster, and I helped him fail miserably, by the way. I was like, I am not going to not eat pizza and Debbie snacks and lasagna. Like, you guys, until I realized I actually was helping him fail. And that's when ketones came into the picture. So one day my husband found a great friend named Michael, and he was like, he tried these little packets, and he's like, Stephanie, I don't know what this is. All I know is you can put a packet in some water. You can be in ketosis in under an hour. And he goes, it's not fair. If it works, it's going to change thousands of people's lives. So he ordered it without asking me. We got it in the mail. I tried it to be a supportive wife. And I'll show you. I don't think I have a packet on the counter. I'll have to walk around the corner. All I did was I put a packet in some water, and I went away actually in a homeschool business, like a homeschool 3-day weekend. Look at my hair. And I came and I called him, and I was in the bathroom, and I was like, babe, it's 3:00 and I'm the only mom not almost falling asleep in this conference. What is this stuff, like crack? I mean, I didn't know, but if anybody out there, I was that mom at 3:00 that was like, I need a nap, girls. Like, we're turning on the TV every single day. Mom needs a nap. You sleep with one eye open so no kid like harms themselves. But I had to do it to survive. So all I'm going to tell you is this. This is where my journey started. That's it. I drank ketones. It got my head above the water, because prior to this, probably right before the product came, I remember going to the grocery store. If there's any moms out there, I had a baby strapped to me. I had 2 in the cart so they wouldn't run away, the older one holding onto the cart. And I was like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to make keto meals. I went to the grocery store, and I remember, I think I walked out in 5 minutes because I was crying, and they were like, what's wrong? And I'm like, I don't know how to cook keto. I don't even know how to cook a vegetable. I don't know how to not eat out of a box. I'm used to eating cereal and Debbie snacks. And I was so overwhelmed with the thought of like, I don't even know what real food is. And so what we decided to do, and that's where the ketones came in. So then I went home, made what I knew to make, because it can be so overwhelming. And we didn't have a lot of help at that time. So what happened is I went through the week. I was like, we've got to do something. So because I knew I was seeing success in my husband through the diet, just so you know, like he was having success with fat loss. He was coming home from work and he wasn't crabby. He was playing with the kids and he was having more energy. So I was like, I know it works. I know food is important. We're going to do it together. I drank the product. I didn't need a nap that day. And I was like, okay, I'm not sure what these ketones are, but I feel amazing. I feel like I've got my head above the water. So that's what I'm going to do is I'm going to get up every morning. I'm going to drink my ketones. I'm going to drink my water, and I'm going to do the best I can with my food. And this is what we did. This is how we started years ago when the girls were babies. I said, all I'm going to focus on is breakfast. That's it. And I got out a little colorful sheet of paper and a marker, and just like this, hold on. I mean, it was a big sheet of paper they were drawing. And I said breakfast, and then I wrote down my breakfast options. I wrote down eggs, bacon, sausage. That's it. Omelets. I would like give myself creative, like omelets over easy eggs, eggs with bacon, a little bit of avocado. So when I got up, if I was going to choose to eat, because there was no way I was intermittent fasting back then. By the way, I used to get really hangry. That's all I would do. So I would get up. That's what I would make. I would feel great. And then I would do whatever, I would do the best I could, but I didn't stress out. Then when I was like, okay, we've got breakfast done, like the cereal boxes are out, we're done with the bagels, I would dive into lunch. I stopped buying the bread. I stopped buying, when the boxes were gone, I stopped buying them. So I was like, okay, snacks, pickles, hard-boiled eggs, cheese sticks, beef sticks, pork rinds. And I would just think of different things. And then for supper, I just said, I'm not going to make potatoes or pasta. That was really hard because I lived off of garlic bread, lasagna, hot dish, potatoes, bread, lasagna, rotated with spaghetti thrown in there. I lived off of that. So I just said, okay. And then I would make different meals. So I would say burgers. And then I would find, like I said before, all the meals that we loved, I've learned how to tweak them. So that's how we started. One meal at a time, one day at a time. Every single day I drank ketones. So just so you're very well aware, there is a lot of benefits to drinking ketones. Most people think it's just about fat loss. Most people think if I'm doing keto, why do I need them? My question to you is, are you actually in ketosis? Because the average person I talk to actually isn't. And ketones are brain fuel. So what I thought was just about fat loss, actually have a great app for you to download. So if you want to, it's a free app. It's called Prove It TV, Pruvit. Let me know if you download it. Let me know and say, hey, I downloaded it. Let's chat. Pruvit, Prove It TV. And there's a little button that says demand, and then watch all of the Keto 101 videos. And what I've learned over the last 5 years is so much research between helping with energy for me and focus, fat loss, mood, sleep. There's things that the doctors can talk about and the crazy research that we're seeing. And so if you have medical questions, I'll give you a video to watch. And so all I want you to know is this: you can do it all food-wise. That's great. Drink your water, drink your electrolytes, focus on your food, track your food. How I started and how I do it every single day is I drink ketones and I watch our food. So there's no right or wrong way. It's whatever works best for you. So that is, I can't remember a couple of the people that asked about it. Here's the deal. We do a 10-day challenge all the time. There's a whole bunch of people starting in a 10-day challenge group starting tomorrow, which is super fun. So if you want to know more about the challenge, you want to join us on the next one, just post challenge below and we can chat about this. I'll give you a video to watch and let's just figure out your goals. So that is the ketones. That is my mom fuel. Just post challenge and we'll chat. Hey, if you're on Instagram, I want you to go to KetoMOM Secrets, because I'm on Instagram, and that's where we track, we share homeschool tips, and because we homeschool, just about life in general. You see more of what our family eats and just kind of what our family does in general. And so the last couple things I would say is this, especially with kids. If you want your kids to eat the way that you eat, or if you want to do it as a family, involve everybody. So have them help you make your menu. Like today I was like, girls, what do you want on our menu? And they were like, we want lasagna, we want some burgers, we like a salad, they love salmon. So I have them help me make the menu. I know sometimes it can be stressful to go to the grocery store with your kids, but if you let them go, they learn how to pick out food. So my kids are picking out food. Involve them in the kitchen. It's okay if there's a hair that ends up in the food, or if it might not be the best. I know that sounds gross, but let your kids help you in the kitchen as long as they're old enough. That helps them understand the power of food. And so with that, if you're just tuning in, I hope that was a lot of information. I would love for you to post some more questions below and I can come on and do another Q&A just so that you can understand whatever it is, whether it's food related. Oh, lastly, I'll end with this. So I get asked this question all the time. Oh yeah, I'll show you. Somebody asked what I'm going to use for noodles in my lasagna. I'm going to make it tomorrow. But lastly, so I have an air fryer. I talk about it all the time, whether you have a large family or a small family. We have 2 air fryers. One of them died. I need to get another one. It's super sad. But this is what I use for my noodles. I'll show you. You're not going to believe it. So the air fryer I use every single morning. Those sausages that I held up, I throw some sausages in the air fryer. I make them while I'm probably combing some of the girls' hair or helping them get dressed. When they're done, I throw them on a plate. The girls munch on them for the morning. We homeschool, so we can do that, right? But I make a steak in the air fryer. I make salmon in the air fryer. You can make bacon. You can make hard-boiled eggs. You guys, the air fryer has unlimited potential. And so, I'll help you with those cramps in just a second. Hold on. So really quick, the air fryer is amazing. There's no shortage. You're going to use it. I use it more than even an Instapot. So if you sometimes I'll get the girls the gluten-free nuggets from Costco. They're actually really great. They're not super low. They're not crazy high carb. They're kind of moderate, but they're great. So we throw those in the air fryer. Everything goes in the air fryer. It's so easy to clean and easy to use. I'm making lasagna tomorrow. I found these at Costco. Walmart carries them in smaller versions. This is the first time I've seen them this big. Usually they come in half sizes. So what I do is I'm going to make up my sauce, which is hamburger, and then I use the Rama sauce from Costco. However you make whatever you use for the middles of lasagna. Some people use a ricotta cheese. My kids love cottage cheese. So we do the sauce and the meat. We have cottage cheese that I usually will put either mozzarella or some Parmesan cheese, and we layer it. And then all I do is open this up and throw this on the pan as a layer. So I'll do meat, I'll usually put one of these. I'll put the cottage cheese, meat, one of these, cottage cheese, and I layer the bad dog up. And let me tell you, I made this over Christmas with all of our family. It was my parents and my in-laws, and they were like, oh, you're making lasagna? Like you're not making a keto meal? And I was like, yeah, well, tell me what you think of it. And they all ate it, and they were like, this is really good. And I'm like, because it's keto. And they loved it. And so I will tell you, they actually all loved it. And they would have liked it even if I made like zucchini noodles or something. But it was, so if you can find them at a Costco. Some Walmarts have them. So they're usually, so really quick, they're by the egg section at Walmart. If you go by the eggs, look at the top. Or Costco, it's by like the Kerrygold butter or the deli meats and things like that. So really quick, if you are having, we're going a different direction. If you're eating keto, really strict keto, or you're drinking ketones and eating low carb, you might find that you need electrolytes. When your body's in ketosis, it's flushing out sodium, magnesium, potassium. It's flushing those out. So you do need to drink a lot of water. And eventually, if you're getting cramps, you're going to need some potassium or magnesium. So if I was you, if you're having cramps at night, I know this, and I only get cramps in my legs at night when I travel because I don't drink enough water and I often don't drink my electrolytes. That's my fault. I know better than that. So grab some Himalayan salt. Like if your legs get really crampy, and this has happened to me before, like I dump salt down I'm like, give me all the salt. Like, you guys, there was a time where my husband and I got off an airplane. We were excited to see the kids. I think we were gone for like 5 or 6 days, and my legs started cramping so bad in the car. The only thing that was available on the highway, I was like screaming they hurt so bad, and I knew it. I didn't drink water that day. We were traveling all day. It was my fault, and I probably didn't eat very much, and we had to stop at McDonald's, and all they had was the white salt. My husband was like dumping the salt in my hands, and I was like licking it as fast as I could, walking around the car until my cramps went away. Like, you want a better salt than table salt, but like Himalayan salt, sea salt, we have this really yummy salt called real salt. Let me show you. And so I think you can get it on Amazon. So that's what you want to do. Some people take Calm. It's a magnesium you can take at night. It's CALM. You can get it on Amazon. It's just a powder. You put it in water. This is the salt that we use. It's called real salt. So if you're having pickle juice, yes, I used to do that too. So like my hair looks crazy. It's called working out. So workout hair. So pickle juice or anything like that helps. So like if you're at home and you wake up in the middle of the night. Actually, we did have pickles one day in a hotel when we were traveling, and I had to slam the pickle juice. So that's why, as your body's flushing them out, you need to replenish them. So I take electrolytes every single day, but if it's just water, you can even put a pinch of salt in your water every single time you fill up your water bottle, and that will help as well. So I hope that's helpful. Okay, so here's the deal as well. Let's talk about poop real quick, and then we'll be done, okay? The question is, what happens if I'm the opposite of being flushed out, or what happens if I'm constipated? So I will tell you, I've never gotten constipated, but I drink ketones, and this is super helpful. I have heard, for those who are doing a strict diet and are having issues with going to the bathroom, you can choose to eat something that has like a fiber in it, but really you need to up your water. Maybe you're doing that. You actually might have to up your carbs a little bit until it goes away. So I don't think there's an actually specific answer. Potassium, magnesium, I know electrolytes can help with that. So you may have to up those a little bit to help with that. If it's the opposite, you might be reacting to just too much dairy. Dairy can go both ways. Sometimes it flushes people out. Sometimes it might plug you up. So watch how much dairy you eat if you find yourself having issues in the bathroom. So I talked about macros in the beginning. In the very beginning we did for a while, but now we don't. I drink ketones. I drink water. I just eliminate, I don't have any bad stuff in the house. I just don't keep any junk. I don't buy anything that's sugary. I can't emotionally eat. There are days, let me be real. There are days that I would love a chocolate chip cookie. If I'm having a crabby day or my kids are having a crabby day, if I could just go to the kitchen, there are times where I'll walk in the kitchen and be like, I just want to eat something. I don't have anything to eat. I can eat some almonds. I can dip my almonds in peanut butter, maybe some dark chocolate chips. But if it's not in your house, you're not going to eat it. So don't keep those things that you're going to grab in your house. I tell people this all the time. If you don't need it and you're not going to eat it, your kids don't need it. My kids don't need Oreos, and they don't need all of that junk. They get it at birthday parties. They get it at the dentist office. There's cookies there. They get it everywhere we go. The grocery store has suckers. The bank has suckers. Like, they don't need it. If you're not going to eat it, don't keep it in the house. Your kids don't need that. They don't need pop. They don't need soda. They don't need cookies. Maybe keep one or two of the treats that you don't love, that you won't add, that they can have. So like our kids love like the Boom Chicka Pop. So sometimes they'll grab the popcorn. I hate popcorn. So even if I was having a bad day, I wouldn't grab the popcorn because I don't like it. So I hope that's helpful. I'm going to see if there's any more. Yep, I do. So I'll talk about the Keto Reboot. Actually, it's available for, I think, one more day. So the reboot is like a 60-hour fast or a cleanse, but we say a reboot because we have a little kit. It has ketones and our broth and our electrolytes, and so it's meant for you to not eat for 60 hours. It reboots your metabolism, really helps you understand that you don't have to be controlled by food. We have a private group that really walks you through. If you grab the reboot or the challenge, we have a private coaching group for you to be in to really help educate you on all of that. So if you want to know about the reboot, just post reboot below and you can grab it tomorrow. If you want to know more about the challenge that has to do with drinking ketones, post challenge below. And then we've got a ton of information outside of this page that we can plug you into and learn more and actually get the education from the experts in the field that you can learn from. So I'm going to check a couple more questions. Yeah, I will. The next time I go to the grocery store, I'll show you. I feel like I do them all the time, but I don't think I do them enough. So I have an entire foods list of like how we started, the meals that we make. I think I probably have an old video I can share with you from Costco that we go and do. So I'll show you what I buy at Costco or any other places. And then, so I'm not a doctor, but if you have medical questions, just reach out to me. Just private message me and I'll answer all of those because I probably have a video that I could share with you that would answer them. So it's not coming from me because I'm not a doctor. And hey, just so you know, if you're doing this by yourself and your spouse or your friend or somebody's not doing it with you, guess what? You don't have to, that's why this page is here. So I never want people to feel like, oh, I'm not doing perfect keto, I can't do this. This page is meant to truly be a place where somebody can come in for accountability, to ask questions. I love to say, take off your black robe when you're here, please. So like sometimes people give me like that mean face look and I want to be like, take off your black robe. Like, meaning you're not the judge. You're not the judge of my lifestyle. You're not the judge of anybody else's lifestyle on here. You get to control your own life, but we are here to help hold each other accountable, to encourage each other because we all are on a journey to better, right? We all want to feel better, look better, be a better whatever that is. Mom, dad, boss, friend, athlete, I don't care what it is. Like, everybody wants to be the best version of themselves. So, like, sometimes I'll have to tell somebody, like if they say, oh, that's not keto, why would you feed your kids those carrots and peanut butter? It's so funny because if you were to take a step back, I would challenge people and I go, I mean, I'm sorry, is your kitchen perfect? Like, you know, have you guys ever taught that whole, like if you're pointing the one finger at you, how many fingers are pointing back at you? So most people are on a journey and they want to feel better. That's what this page is about. Like, come, learn, see what works for you, trial some things out. There's recipes here and tips and tricks that you can incorporate what works best for you. And don't let anybody ever tell you otherwise. There is no one size fits all. You're not going to go buy a perfect diet guide to walk you through 28 days of keto perfect. Like, your macros aren't the same as my macros. So you've got to do the work. You've got to have the discipline. You've got to have the grit. You've got to have the determination. You've got to have your why so that you make those better choices in life. I'll tell you this one last thing and then I promise you that I'm done, okay? I listened to a really good message from our pastor this morning, and he was talking about just in general people's view of 2020 or their expectations or their whatever, right? Like, oh my goodness, we're all going to do this. We all have our resolutions, intentions, goals. Like, it's so funny how people even want to change the name to help trick their minds into doing it. We can't say resolution anymore because we've got to set these intentions. Nope, the intentions aren't actions. We've got to take action. Nope, we've got to make goals. Here's the deal. There is no shortage of, so for example, he was saying, you know what? And I talked to my team about this today. Like, this this word battle ready has been in my mind all day. And he said, are you battle ready when you get up? I posted about it this morning. It had a picture of donuts on it. So meaning, when you wake up in the morning, think to yourself, I'm in a battle. Not a bad battle, not like a war, but kind of. I'm in a battle for my health. I'm in the battle because everything is warring or everything is fighting for your time, your energy, your money, whatever that is, right? Like you're either going to own your day or you're going to let your day own you, right? You're either going to own your meals and your health or you're going to let somebody own it for you. So what I mean by that is when you get up in the morning, you should have one quick thought of like, today's a battle. Not a negative, but a battle of like, I'm going to own my day. I'm going to choose the best I can with my foods. I have to take action and have enough discipline to make the choices I need to get to where I want to be next year, right? And then he talked about, it's so funny because oftentimes we see ourselves as a winner or successful if we reach that goal. Like when I reach that 30 pounds, I'll be successful. When I go to the gym for 6 months, then I will have the muscles that I want. But we're not celebrating the wins of like putting your shoes in, going to the gym. That's a win. The hey, you had the option to grab the donut today at work, but you didn't grab it. That's a win. Those teeny little 1% wins will get you to where you want to be later in life, but it's not instant, and it's discipline, and it's being battle ready to come up against things that might cause you to go back to doing those old habits or grabbing that old food or making the poor choices. And so I just loved how he phrased it. I was like, yeah, every day we need to be in a battle. We need to be in a battle for our marriage, for our friendships, for our kids, for our health, because if you don't control it, somebody else will control it for you. That's what happens, right? The fast food will give you food because you didn't plan your meals, and it's easier to grab that because you've got a screaming kid and you're hungry or you're hangry, right? Like if you don't plan to fail, the fast food joint will give you food and it will sound great at that. It'll sound great. It's fine. We'll just do it today. And then you're going to feel like garbage and it's going to be a repetitive cycle. So I would say this. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. So I want you to plan. Write it down. Write down your goals. I just shared something on my Instagram there's even more than I shared. I think I've got 12 different alarms set of all the things I want to make sure I do so that I don't forget them. So write it out. Use this as your accountability. Ask questions. Reach out to me. Find somebody to help you. Lock arms with a friend or somebody that's next to you, a spouse or a sister, or I don't even care who. Ask somebody to join you. So with that, I'm going to let you guys go. It is late. And I said I was going to be in bed by 11 so I can get up at 6 to work out. So that's my plan. I hope you guys have a great day. I'll reach out to any questions I missed, and we'll talk to you soon.